So my name is Ariel, and it's so nice to meet you.
Meet you too, Ariel.
And I hear you have a presentation coming up in English. So tell me a little bit about that.
You mean about myself, right?
Sure, yeah, you can tell me about yourself. I'd love to hear that.
Okay. Yeah. Cause yeah, obviously, I'm over 40 years old, and I'm trying to improve. I'm still trying to improve my English. My purpose is when I meet my investor, or when I like work with my students, and I can use more natural English to like work with them, or to present with them, and to pay with them.
Yeah, of
Yeah.
course, definitely. So just a quick correction. You said meet my investor. Because you know who your investor is, we would say meet with my investor.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll
Cool.
just need that in there. And so, what kind of business do you have, or tell me a bit about your job life?
Yeah, sure. I am running a STEAM education center.
That sounds amazing. So, what does that entail?
Basically, I lead students to create some project, or we use a PBL, like PBL way to lead to encourage students to solve the real problem. Like, for example, the 17 sustainability like problem, or sustainability goal of UN. So basically we use that kind of topic to like set their value, and we use the STEAM skill set. That means science, technology, engineering, art, and mathematics, the combination, to help them to find out how to solve the real problem, or to create some like ideas to how to help people, or how to uh, success, or do have some help for sustainability, right? Because right now we are always talking about this sustainability. That means how to create a better world. So that is our goal.
Yeah. So, what age group are your students?
My student basically from 6 years old to like 12 years old right now, but we are going to like have more students maybe in high school. As you know, when they in when their age, I mean when they take high school courses, it's very hard for them, or it's luxury for them to have this more space time for like the project like that, right? Because in China, basically the teaching system is rely on the academic learning or testing, something like this.
Yeah, like those teen years. So when you're no longer a child. So that was the age range I was looking for you to say. So those teen years, there's definitely a lot more pressure so that you can study
Right.
more, and that competition for college and university, I hear it's very cutthroat in China, that you really need to focus on your academics.
Right. So basically, but look at another way. this project can help them to like open their eyes and have more skills. So if they are planning to study abroad, like for example, to some other like international school, or study abroad in America or Canada or UK, maybe that is another like skills, or that is another like um, uh, I mean, that is another reason they can pick by schools.
So would you say that your STEAM system is more practical learning, so more hands-on and less
Yeah,
academic? Yeah, okay.
right. So including like coding, right, and 3D printing or engineering, something like this.
That's amazing. Like, I know in
Yeah,
Canada, they have just introduced coding into our school systems and they're making it
right,
nationally recognized. I think it's just provincial in some areas right now, but we're seeing in Canada that our education system is a bit more outdated and that we need to stay on top of those technology trends, and having those
right,
practical skills for students is very important.
right. Exactly. And I have a partner in Canada as well. He lived in China for over 16 years and go back Canada last year.
Wow. And
Yeah,
did
so
he go
maybe he
back
would.
because of the pandemic?
Yes or no? Yes is yes, because he he planned it at the range of that time, but because of the pandemic, so he left China before. I mean, China have control. So I mean, at that moment, Canada is still like is still fine, or people doesn't mention that, right? So
Mhm.
but after that he locked down in Canada for a year.
Yeah, it's been crazy. I moved from Canada to the UK during the pandemic, and I moved during the
Oh,
first lockdown of the UK. But that was before they knew what they were doing. So I came over here. It wasn't required to quarantine. I was, going to the Lake District. I was traveling Wales, but now it's way more strict, which is quite. It's not frustrating, but it's made for a very interesting first year living in England.
yeah, right, but anyway, that is
Yeah,
it's life, right? You
exactly.
can like you don't know what is happen tomorrow, so yeah,
Yeah, you can't predict the future.
right, you can predict future, exactly, yeah,
Okay, so I do have a bit of a lesson planned for us today, as Echo had mentioned to me that you would like us to go over presentations,
yes,
incorporating some business English. So
right.
before we begin, just if I speak too fast or if I say a word that you're not familiar with, please stop me. Like, this is all for you. This is the first time I am testing this particular lesson, as I've redesigned it to better suit your needs based on what Echo and I spoke about. So yeah, if it's too easy, let me know, because we have a total of 90 minutes together. Today we'll do 30, and then we have two more sessions later on. One I think is on the 18th, and then April something. I'd have to check my schedule, but
That's fine. Because y- um, for me, I can um, understand totally,
okay.
so it doesn't matter. But yeah, my oral English is still need to improve. But my listening, I think it's fine. So no worries.
Perfect. Okay, so we're going to enter the slideshow mode on this. If you can't see anything, please just let me
Yes.
know.
Mhm.
Um, so let's just go over the beginning. So We will be doing a lot of discussion, but before we do that, we will just do some vocabulary as well. So
Mhm.
in each of my lessons, I try to incorporate a speaking warm up at the beginning, some vocabulary, and then
Sure.
provoking a bit more discussion, and then a bit of grammar, and then more discussion. That way, you get a little bit of everything, and it's not too difficult to understand, and a good refresher or
Okay.
review of some things for you.
No problem.
All right. So, yeah, to warm up, have you ever given a presentation in English?
Yes, I do. Yes, I did, but not very not fluently enough.
So, yes, I have.
Yes, I have. Okay.
Yeah. And what was the last presentation you gave about, whether it was in English or your native language? Tell me about it and how did it go?
Okay. Because I have presentation 2 weeks ago. Um, and the audience is my another like English teacher. He was very good, like he ever talk in tech talk show. So I did present my business plan to him, and he gave me many useful idea to get how to make it better, and how to correct, or how to draw the concentrate of the audience, or some tips on some skills.
Perfect. So we can say he gave you a lot of, so not many, a
Mm.
lot of useful feedback.
A lot of useful feedback. Okay,
Yeah, so
cool.
that feedback is just everything from your tips to your corrections to suggestions. So, kind of
Mhm.
creating a more broader term. And then, of course, you could say, oh, a lot of useful feedback, and then give examples like some really good pointers or anything like that. So, really good. Okay. And who was your audience?
You, yeah. My audience. You mean last time I do the
Yeah.
presentation?
Yeah.
Yeah, my English teacher.
Okay. Okay. So, no one else attended, and he was just there to help you work through that, correct?
Yeah, right.
Okay, awesome. So, and how do you think it went overall? Like, do you feel prepared for it? Do you feel like you learned a lot from it?
Um, no, I'm not very good prepared. Because that is the second time I use English to present that business plan, and I think there are still many um, part of the plan need to be modified.
Okay, awesome.
So, mhm.
Great use of that word modified as well. I like that. Okay,
Okay.
so here's our vocabulary that we will focus on today. So how we're going to do this exercise is I'll get you to say each word. I'll do the first one as an example. So presentation. What I'm looking for is your pronunciation of each word. If you know what it means, great. Let's move on to our next word. And so on. We'll just keep you to doing that. If there's no new words, great, awesome. I'll know for next time to find a bit more challenging vocabulary. And yeah, then we'll move on to our next slide. So whenever you're ready.
Okay, so yeah, I read it out, right?
Correct, yes.
Okay. Presentation, a talk giving information about a specific topic. The man, the manager would like to, the manager would like us to give a presentation about our new product. Outline, outline.
Yeah.
a general description or plan showing the essential features of something,
Sorry, I think
but
our
not
yeah,
some
our video might be hiding it.
yeah, something but not the detail. Before we begin, I will outline what is on our agenda for today. So yeah, I will. If my tone and rhythm it's like not correct, please correct me as well. Because I know I try to like speak like more natural or more fluently, and words some word need to stress. I know that, but I always miss it. So
Yeah, it's difficult to do that when you're reading things as well because you don't know what the sentence is going to be because you're just reading it out loud and speaking as you go. And that's a skill. I notice that I definitely have like a reading out loud voice and then my more natural speaking voice. So if you like
okay,
read that sentence and you're like, oh, that's really good, you can repeat it and try to add that tone and that fluctuation in your voice as well. So
all right.
yeah, but so far, outline, was that a new word?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So let go ahead. I should
Yeah, let's move on to the
go right.
next word.
Okay, sure. Uh, visual ad in uh in imagine imaginary used to make something easier to understand. Chart, poster, image, model, etc. We will need a visual ad as part of the presentation.
Okay, let's just go over some pronunciation of those words. So,
Okay.
visual. We really want to make sure that U and that
Visual.
A, yeah, you got
Okay.
it. So, visual aid.
Visual. Visual aid. All right. Okay.
And I do have a Canadian accent. So when I say certain like A and O words, I overpronounce my O's and my A's, and I can't help it. It's my accent. I get made fun of it all the time here in England. Like when I go to the store and I'm like, oh, may I have a plastic bag? And they're like, a what? I'm like, a bag. And they're like, I'm sorry, I don't understand. I'm like, a bog. Like I have to like soften my A, and like I don't want them to think I'm mocking them. So like it's so awkward for me still, and I've lived here for so long and we all speak the same language. But yeah, so if I teach you about pronunciation or like try to correct you, I'm trying to make you sound more natural for you. Don't
Mhm.
try to mimic me because sometimes, like do it in your accent, but we just remember what consonant and vowels do we really need to blend together or over pronunciate, like is it a long sound or a short sound? So yeah, like that visual aid and imagery.
Imagery.
Mhm.
Imagery.
Perfect,
Okay.
way better, great.
Sure. Okay.
All right, and our next word.
Yeah. Point out. Point out. Facial work to draw attention. To draw attention to demonstrate. Could you point out my mistake?
Great. Okay. So as you can see so far, our three other vocabularies have just been nouns. I'll try to add phrasal verbs into this as well. So as we know, our phrasal verbs act differently than our normal verb. Are you familiar with phrasal verbs at all?
Yes.
Okay.
When I use English to learn, no. I mean, when I use Chinese to learn English, I put it this way because I know the grammar,
Mhm.
but I can't use when I use it, and I always make mistake. But if you that is my problem, and that I think that most students, when they do writing, or when they do the testing, maybe they can get a good mark or good score. But when we're going to use it, sometimes always make mistake. That is my problem. I know that, and I try to correct, and try to like improve.
Of course, yeah. And I think that phrasal verbs and idioms, they'll help you sound more natural and they'll give you a better understanding that learning English is kind of like there's this guideline. There's not all these rules, right? Because all these rules, they tend to be broken with our grammar, right? And
Correct.
even coming from Canada, moving to England, like the use of me and I, that's often confused. In Canada, we'll say, Dr. Jacobs saw my mom and me, sorry, Dr. Jacobs waved to my mom and I. The I is incorrect because the action is happening to you. We would use me. And in Canada, we often say and I because we think it sounds more polite, but grammatically it's wrong. And then here in England, they say me and my friends. No, it's my friends and I. So just knowing like between me and I, so I is what you do, me happens to you. And that's, on paper it makes sense, but even us as native speakers, when we're speaking, it's like we forget, and that's confusing for people learning English because we don't actually follow our rules either.
but I yes, exactly. But I try to like correct the obvious mistake, right?
Yeah.
So okay,
Okay.
good.
So
Okay.
yeah, I will add more phrasal verbs into lessons as well because I think that
Good.
they're really great to use. Like, I'd just like to point out in my presentation today, XYZ, right? Or I just want to point out to you, our class is for 30 minutes. If we go over, it's no big deal, right? So just we can use it to draw attention to something in an informal way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Prolong, to to lengthen the time that something takes. Um, he prolonged the business call to get out of his afternoon meeting.
Okay. So
Okay.
prolong is our verb, prolong.
Mm-hmm.
And then prolonged. So we don't actually pronounce that ed. And I'm not going to explain that to you why right now. I'm going to send a video that can be forwarded to you from Echo. It's 5 minutes and it goes through those past tense verbs with the ed and pronunciation really, really well. Because that's what I find with a lot of people that are learning English is that they feel like they need to pronounce that ed, but it's not always correct. So that video,
Yeah,
so I'm
right.
not wasting your time, would better explain it. So that will be your homework,
Okay.
is to watch that.
Okay, cool.
Okay,
All
and
right. So
next.
summarize word. Give a brief statement. Give a give a brief statement of the main points of something. These results can be summarized in the following table. Okay, so
Great,
right
yeah.
here, should I pronounce the ed?
Yes, because that
Summarize it.
E is part of our word, so summarized. So we need it
Oh,
for
okay.
pronunciation. Yeah, so that's something that that video will explain in a bit more detail.
Okay, cool. All right.
Awesome.
Invest, work. To buy or put money into something with the goal of making more money for it. Many people are investing in real real estate. Sorry. Many people are investing in real estate these days.
Real estate, so another word for
Real
property.
estate. Okay.
Yeah.
Real estate. Okay.
All right. Do you have questions about any of these?
No.
Perfect. Okay, so we're going to move on. We're going to go over three
Yeah, sure.
idioms and then we'll do a bit more of a discussion. So, our idioms today are do your homework, mind goes blank, and go with the flow. Have you heard these before?
Do your homework. Get brown. Get, um, almost no, but I can. Do you do your homework? I can make sense. I mean, if I didn't like, I don't read the explanation.
No, you don't need to read it. Like
Okay,
if you
so you
feel like
mean
it makes sense, but
I need.
try to make your own sentence using do your homework. So I'll see if it's grammatically correct. If you can take this idiom and put it into your own sentence. Oh, are you still there? You're freezing up a bit.
Okay, so all right. Okay, so can I? Oh, yes. Maybe the signal's no. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
I'm just
I
checking.
can.
Can you hear me okay? I think it's back
Okay.
now.
Yes, yes, it's back now.
Okay, so do your homework. The example I have written is if you want your presentation to be a success, you need to make
Mm.
sure you do your homework. So how would you use do your homework in your own sentence?
So I can use it in a idiom like use a. Or it doesn't only mean
You're frozen again, Justin.
if you
Maybe let's turn off our cameras and that will improve the bandwidth and then we can still at least hear each other. Um, okay.
okay.
Oh wow, that sounds so much better. Okay, so yeah, do your homework.
Oh, okay.
Okay, let's use that in a sentence of your own.
Okay, so if you want to have a good presentation, I mean, sorry, if you want to have a good performance in tomorrow's show, please do your homework.
Perfect. Yeah, that works really well. I like that. So what about mind goes blank? So unable to remember or think about what you want to say. So we can use
Mm,
this as like just a phrase of like, ah, my mind has gone blank, or
yeah,
we can put it
right.
in a sentence, like the example.
Okay. When I get nervous, when I stand on the stage, I feel my mind goes blank.
So when I get nervous as I stand on stage, my mind goes blank.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right.
Yeah, so we kind of want it in that present continuous tense because we have those verbs in there and we want to like have that sentence flow nicely. So what about this kind of go with the flow to let things happen or let other people tell you what to do rather than trying to control what happens yourself.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Um, um, okay. I try to go with the follow. Um, sorry.
It's okay, you're doing great.
Um, sorry. My mic, my mic goes blank.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
So this one we can put into a simple sentence like just go with the
Mhm.
flow, my friend, to say like, yeah, just relax, just go with it. It'll be
Yeah,
fine.
yeah,
Yeah.
right. Okay. Yeah, but because when I was making a sentence, I found the same with the example, or almost same. So that's why
Yeah, oh no, it's
my
okay.
my mind suddenly goes blank.
Yeah.
But
It's all right.
I can use it. All
No
right.
worries. Okay, well, no big deal. So let's move on to our next bit just because we're almost out of time. What we're going to do is we'll skip the vocabulary practice for now and we will come back to this in our next class. This will be our
No
warm
problem.
up where we're just filling in the blank to make sure that we memorize these words and are able to use them correctly.
Sure.
Next, let's just talk about presentation
Mm-hmm.
preparation. So some people enjoy speaking in front of an audience, where others find it nerve-wracking. Practicing your presentation, as you've done and as you've told me, and being prepared can better reduce stress and anxiety when presenting. So how often, or sorry, do you often need to give presentations? How often are they in English?
Yes, I often need to give presentation in front of my colleague or like students. Um, I can say almost every day, but I'm not very often used in English. Like
Mhm.
I can say maybe once a month
Oh,
in
wow.
English.
Okay. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're going to just stop here. And
Mm-hmm.
we are out of time. We have exceeded our 30 minutes for the class. So I'm just going to stop sharing and we can turn our videos back on if you'd like.
Yeah, sure.
Perfect. Okay. So there was a few like corrections that I had made for you. Any corrections that I made, I had put in our Zoom chat. When this chat ends, unfortunately, they disappear. So I will forward them on to Echo and they can then pass that on to
Oh,
you. So
sure.
along with this recording, a great thing is you can use this recording as a record to see your improvement throughout classes as well.
Yes, thank you very much.
Awesome. Do you have any questions for me today?
Um, no, I think that's fine, and this is good for the I mean the course structure is fine. So let's see, because I know today we spend more sometimes in like introduction, or maybe yeah we have some like a short conversation because this is the first time, right? So
Exactly.
maybe when times goes and you will like know me better and you will know what is my like mistake always focus I mean and
Yeah.
you I'm sure you will like try to help me to improve.
Exactly. Yeah. The more I get to know you, the more I can be like, ooh, like prepositions aren't so good. Or, ooh, like maybe this is too easy. I can throw some challenging vocabulary in there. Like that's why I only did the one phrasal verb today. And I think those three idioms are ones that you can definitely use, especially with working with children. You really do need to go with the flow.
Okay,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome. It was so